is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, and what indeed special day it is. Ash Wednesday, also Valentine's, less important. And yeah, it's quite a fitting day for us to discuss the death of certain heroes, because on Ash Wednesday we think about death a lot. You know, we were once dust, and to dust we shall return, etc.
Exactly.
Seems kind of fitting, doesn't it?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. We'll also be literature that you probably passed on Madam Web. I don't blame you, but I will be discussing in the show some thoughts on that. So
I haven't seen any
that should
Marvel
be fun.
movies since really Endgame, except for maybe Captain Marvel for discussion purposes, and then Black Widow because out of pure curiosity, and that's about it. I haven't really seen anything else Marvel after that.
Yeah, that was the right call. To be honest, that was definitely.
Oh, I did see the first couple episodes of Echo recently. Almost forgot about that because it's such a forgettable show. But that's about it.
I had the pleasure of watching it as well. But that's because I love Kingpin.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
She makes him cry.
it was just like they thought, okay, we'll throw in Kingpin, sign language, some action scenes, and Native Americans. That's it. That's all there is to the show. There's no plot, there's no story, there's no nuance. I don't feel connected to any character whatsoever. It's just those four basic elements, and that's it, really. That's all there is to edit. It's product, you know? That's all
Right.
it is. Anyway, literature Devil,
Content,
would
as
you-
they say.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell the people where they can find you.
I'm Literature Devil on YouTube. I go over story structure, narrative, theory, things like that. And my favorite part is going over these cringy movies and debunking all that nonsense they say. Well, it's good. Well, she's a good character, and that's a good character because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And it's usually like reasons, like meta reasons, like it's good because she's a powerful woman or what have you. By going in there and say, actually, no, the reasons why you don't like these movies is not because you're sexist. It's because it's badly written and badly constructed. And I go over exactly the reasons why. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely love your videos.
Thank you very
Your
much.
analysis is fantastic, I gotta say.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you can check out his channel and his social media in the description below. There should be a link to your comic, although I probably didn't add it. I will add it down later in the description, so you can check out all of Literature Devil stuff in the description below. It is definitely worthwhile seeing. And no, I wanted to ask you as well, where did the name come from, Literature Devil?
Well, I like reading. I was really good at writing in school. did that in college and everything. And then I decided, like, the idea of what's interesting was that I remembered, or I noticed the idea of modern media kind of demonizing heroes and villainizing good people, villainizing truth, demonizing truth, and praising evil, bad guys, villains, things like that. So I thought, like, well, under these circumstances, like, wouldn't it be good? If you like a devil, wouldn't you be a good guy in this circumstance? So I thought it'd be kind of funny. It's kind of the play on that whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And I wanted to touch on some of your videos. The first video that I ever saw of yours is really caught my attention, you know, as I was scrolling through YouTube. And you posed a very dangerous question, should we say. Can a racist character be heroic? And that just caught my attention. Like, in modern age, probably not. You
And they wouldn't write it
probably
that way.
couldn't write it. No, definitely not. It'd be very difficult to even set the story in modern times as well, I would think. No, but this is the first video that I ever saw of yours, and it was a great video. And it does nail in the point that no matter the hero's flaw, you can still write a fantastic story. I remember, have you heard about Shad's book by any chance?
Oh yeah, Shadow of the Conqueror. I read the
Mhm.
novel twice, and I have the comic.
Okay,
I have the
I have the
Enemies
novel.
of Self.
Yeah, yeah. I have the novel and I had it signed because Shad
Oh, nice.
came to the UK at one point, so got that opportunity to get it signed. Um, no, really great book, but I was so taken aback in that book that Shad essentially punishes the hero so much time and time again, has him do all these misdeeds, be him like he's like equivalent to like a I don't know, Stalin, Hitler in that historical sense, a man of many sins, and yet he still redeems them towards the end. And I think, yeah, the hero's actions are atrocious, but there is still redemption. And I think that's somewhere where this question boils down to is like, um, like heroes' flaws, can they ever like overcome his general growth? No, it's interesting topic, and I think the best example I can think of in recent terms uh, of this certain question that it would apply to would be JoJo's Rabbit. Because there's have you heard of the movie, by the way?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I wanted to see it.
It's one of Taika Waititi's best, and it's essentially a story about a kid in Nazi Germany, having all these racist, discriminatory beliefs. And towards the end, he kind of redeems himself and stuff like that. So I think thinking about this question, yeah, you are able to do it. But then again, in Jojo Rabbit, it's a kid. You kind of forgive him for his racist attitudes. I mean, what does he know? For a full-grown guy to have racist ideas, that'd be a little more unforgivable, I suppose.
What you really need to do in the long run is a summary of this video. I think I haven't seen it in a long time, but like a kind of a summary would be that a hero can have all kinds of prejudices, but if he overcomes those prejudices, if he kind of chooses not to succumb to those things in order to do the right thing, like if he dislikes a race of people or something like that, and he does the right thing anyway, the morally correct thing anyway, then he's still heroic, even if he does have flaws or prejudices of that nature.
Definitely, definitely. On to your next masterpiece of a video. Is Superman still relevant today?
Oh yeah.
And you went for the full-on Mauler long ban, 1 hour and 40 minutes. How much of a task was this to make?
It was huge. It took me 6 months to make this video because I had to
Wow.
read all that stuff. I had to go over I had to reread all the books on Greek philosophy, things like that. So it took a long time. It took quite a bit. Fortunately, I started streaming around this time, so I had the best chat to kindly keep me afloat while I made this thing. But it was huge. I read all manner of Superman stories, iconic Superman stories, including things I didn't even use. I planned to use some of these things, but I didn't use them. So I read more than I used for this video.
Nice.
So
Very
it took a
nice.
long time. It took a very long time.
I highly recommend this video. It completely changed my view on Superman. I always thought of him like a Boy Scout, but I think the core of the issue was that I thought that he doesn't struggle much because he's so powerful, because he's just seems always so unfazable, I guess would be the term. If I don't know if that's a term. Um, but yeah, I think your video proved that no, Superman does struggle to a degree. I mean, it's so easy for him to be evil. It's so easy to write him as a evil Superman and become a dictator. That's the easy way, but it's definitely more difficult for a character to stay as something good and inspiring.
Absolutely, it's kind of the idea. I think I used in this video is that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it usually does in most cases. It's very tempting and difficult to maintain a good integrity, good moral integrity. The more power you have, it's really easy for you to be poor and powerless and small and say, "Well, I would never do those things." But it becomes way different when you actually have the power, when you actually can say something and it gets done. That's why I always say I recommend people just play like Crusader Kings 3 or something like that, because it's really easy to chastise someone in power when you've never had that power before, and when your decisions are really, really important, and you have to make these big decisions, but you know that each decision carries a lot of weight, and sometimes you don't. There is no good answer. It's like, do you do this thing that will end up with this negative consequence, or this thing that will end up with some other negative consequence? And so that's kind of the trouble that Superman will have, because he is so powerful. He has so much reach. He can hear around the world. He can fly to almost anyone in an instant. So he has a lot of responsibility and a lot of power, but he has to balance that out with the fact that he's still one man. And it would be very, very easy for him to slip into evil, because it could be like Injustice Superman, for example, where he would go into evil because he wants to. I mean, first of all, in that scenario, he lost his loved ones. In fact, not only did he lose his loved ones, he was tricked into killing his loved ones. But if you take that scenario out, if Superman was too virtuous and too dogged and quelling all crime, then he would become like an overlord. It would be so easy for him to go and take over the world, to destroy all the governments, and become the supreme ruler of the world, and enforce a stop to all crime, by violence or whatever, what have you. But the thing is, that's not his position. Superman hates crime. He loves, he's very kind, very caring, very nurturing. He's like the ultimate patriarch, the ultimate fatherly figure. He wants to show you the way. Like, he's very caring, but he wants to show you the way. He knows that nothing will change with enforcement. He knows nothing will change with tyranny. So the idea is, there are great people, Clark. They just need someone to show them the way. That's the way he changes things. It's not, his goal is not to stop all crime, because he can't do that. And even if he did, it would require things that he is not willing to do, and would ultimately make things worse in the long run. But what his main goal becomes is, I'm going to become the beacon of hope and light. I'm going to show you how to be kind. I'm going to show you the way. I'm going to show you what choices to make and when. And by example, I'm hoping to change the world. That's kind of his action state. That's kind of his goal and his statement that he wants to perform, and he wants to accomplish. Kind of like Gotham with the Batman, he wants to cure Gotham of its corruption. He wants to stop these evil villains from corrupting these people and harming everyone. He's the one that took on the task of stopping all crime. Though even Batman will usually stop at tyranny. Like, he will not enforce his beliefs on people under normal circumstances. He knows justice needs to prevail on its own merits, rather than in a forced tyrannical system. So even though they have a opposition, and they have, and Batman is more like a fortitude kind of guy, he never ever stops. Superman, on the other hand, is temperance. He is always under pressure to maintain control. And so, yeah, on the negative, it's like he must always maintain control, or else something bad might happen. He might crush someone he loves. He might injure someone. But also, during the having to maintain control from birth, or from childhood, he's learned to keep that control on a moral level as well as physical. So that's why Superman is able to go out there, take the hits, and he's strong enough on a physical and moral level to provide mercy, forgiveness. He's caring for other people. That's why this especially was exemplified in the All-Star Superman, where he's dying and he goes to Lex Luthor. He says, "I'm gonna die, Lex. You can save the world now. You no longer have me to stay in your way. You can do all the great things you said you were going to do without me here. So go on, Lex. Do those great things." Like, he's pleading with his arch enemy, as someone who's hated him and tried to kill him for years and years and years. And at the end of his life, when Superman is dying, it's not hatred he gives Lex Luthor, it's a plea to do the right thing. That's what Superman is, the kind of hero he is.
Yeah, he sets an example, and I guess on the surface, it's not obvious what his goals are. You know, Superman leading by example. With Batman, everyone knows that Batman wants to get rid of crime in Gotham City. Keep saying it, but with Superman, it's less so. The awareness is less so with the general public. You know, they don't really know what Superman is for. And you know, there's all those accusations now with Batman as well. Just why can't he give his money to poor people, and that would solve crime? And it's just like,
And it's like that into the Flash movies. Like in the background, you hear him say, "Well, if I just gave all my money away, I would solve more problems and solve all crime." Like, no, that's like an infantile way of looking at things. First of all, it doesn't even work in real life. Second of all, it's Gotham. Like, where you think if he gave all the money to various organizations in Gotham to help cure all the problems, do you really think that money's going to get to the people that need it? That's the basis of Gotham. It is full of corruption. Like, that money will do nothing. He'll just end up poor.
yeah. And hey, he fights a lot of rich supervillains: Penguin, Court of Owls, Harvey Dent, maybe sometimes Harvey Dent. I guess no, those would be the top three. I'm missing one.
There is a movie that came out fairly recently. I forgot when, but it was like the last performance or one last performance of Adam West as Batman. It was a cartoon. It was an animated series or animated movie where
Brave and the
old
Bold,
Adam
maybe.
West, he voices Batman. It's like the Batman. It was the Adam West Batman universe. So there was a second one with where William Shatner plays Two-Face. And in that one, Batman gets captured and he's being auctioned off by Two-Face. And all the Batman's enemies come in, and they're participating in the auction, and they're throwing millions of dollars. Every one of those bad guys have millions of dollars to throw at Batman to try to get him, to try to win the auction here. So yeah, he doesn't fight poor people. Like the main villains that he fights are not poor people. They're these rich megalomaniacs. And egotists and scientists and all these crazy weirdos.
Hugo Strange, yeah.
Yeah, these are doctors. A lot of them are doctors, like Harley Quinn and Pamela Isley. I think she was a doctor too. Hugo Strange. Like a lot of these guys are just straight up doctors. Some of them are lawyers, like Two-Face. He's a prosecuting attorney or something like that. I think he's a prosecutor. I think he is. But like most of the Gotham rogues gallery, most of them are rich. They have they're really well off.
Yeah, exactly. I could not agree more. But before we move on to the next segment of the show, let's greet chat a little now that you guys come on in. Thank you everyone so much for joining in the live stream. We appreciate all of you. Tilateral, yo, hey, good to see you, mate. Just for friendlands on the can a hero be heroic if he's racist? Gran Torino is a good example. Yeah, I guess that would be a good example. Yeah.
I think Walker from Final Fantasy X, also a good example. He's very heroic and very, very racist.
Yeah. Superman has always been a favorite superhero of mine. Yeah. Then you definitely would like that video. Yeah, it's a great video.
I was doing research for that video. I found out that Marvel might be the more popular company, but Superman was the most popular hero in America when they did a survey.
Interesting. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Superman is definitely more so like the American dream kind of superhero. Captain America, not so much. You know? Did I lose connection?
You're still here, I think.
Oh no, okay. Weird. It just kind of froze on me for a second. Okay, thank God. Little smash that like button. Hey, thank you for being here, buddy. Injustice Superman was a dozen major things in his life going on. Yep. Gordon Good Brother listening at 3.4 speed. Okay. You talk fast, Devil. I guess that's what it means.
That makes sense.
Maybe Batman should donate to charity more.
Yeah, why don't just give his money away? That fixes all the problems. You could tell that argument came from like a person who has mommy and daddy take care of all the problems. Like, why can't just Batman just give money away? Now that'll solve all crime. Like this very naive, very infantile view of the world.
Definitely. Superman vs. the Elite is a film I showed to convince folks why Superman is awesome, phenomenal film. Oh, definitely. I gave it a watch like right after that video. Really good. Really good. Gunn's definitely tapping into Supes versus Elite for the DCU. He might be. He definitely said that it's gonna be. No, it was Peter Safran who said this, that he was gonna be a more kind Superman than Man of Steel. I'm looking forward to Superman Legacy. Are you?
Yeah, any kind Superman I do appreciate. That's why I even like the My Adventure Superman. They have a kind. I mean, he's a little soy and a little soft, but like he's still kind and generous in that one. In that one, which I appreciate, and it's a very it's a breath of fresh air after seeing Injustice Superman, Evil Suicide Squad Superman, Man of Steel Superman. Like everyone has to be mean and it's just cruel and just straight up evil sometimes. Like, can we get a decent, kind, caring Superman for once? And that's My Adventure Superman, at least the first season. It provided that Superman, so I enjoyed it for that reason.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's not even true because he's a philanthropist. Wayne Enterprises hires loads of people and he invests to make infrastructure not just for Gotham but for the whole country. That is true. He's definitely very loaded to get all those Batman gadgets. Okay, that will move us along nicely to our first segment, Sucked into Pop Culture.
And finally, the piece de resistance.
Okay, in this part of the show, we basically talk about things we've consumed pop culture-wise in the last 2 weeks or so. Devil, what have you been treating yourself with?
Unfortunately for the West, mainly anime. Well, last week.
Understandable.
Other than like old shows, like nothing new. I watched Frasier. That's kind of I watched the old Frasier and the new Frasier, so that's kind of the newest thing, I guess.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Echo. That's like the one thing.
Did you watch the Netflix Daredevil 1 to 3?
A long time ago when it first came out, yeah.
Love those shows. Definitely got me into Daredevil as well.
This one was good. I even liked the Iron Fist and Luke Cage shows. I was going to watch Jessica Jones, but like I saw the Twitter account and it's like, men should not watch this show. You're disinvited. Like, okay, well then fine. I won't watch it then. I don't have to watch it.
Yeah. I keep hearing that David Tennant's Purple Man is fantastic in that show. But I've never bothered to watch it, to be honest. Like, I keep hearing that David Tennant is fantastic in it. He's a fantastic villain.
He usually is fantastic. He's a really good actor.
Yeah. Maybe someday, but I don't know. It's a mixed bag for me, Jessica Jones. What anime did you watch, by the way? I have somewhat of a good idea of what anime is. What about I know I've watched like Solo Leveling, the first 6 episodes, so that seems pretty good.
And recently I watched Freerun. I haven't caught up exactly to the final one.
Okay.
The latest episode. But I was watching Freerun. I thought it was it's really, really good. I give it it's top tier. It's my favorite anime now. That one's really good. I've been watching the other stuff like Tier Moon Empire, something like Tier Moon Empire. That one's also pretty interesting. It's silly, but it's interesting. And I started reading this Villainous Caught in a Seventh Time Loop. I started reading that one. I haven't seen the anime yet.
Okay. Well, I've definitely watched Freerun, and it is definitely a interesting concept because you've got this, again, really overpowered character who can basically go through anything, but they're very flawed, very, very kind of
It's really about the interaction. Like it's barely.
Yeah.
She has a lot of power, but it's like One Punch Man. It's like it's barely the story is barely ever center around her power level. except for like maybe the demon thing. But every other time, it's about her personality, morals, or like trying to figure out how to keep each other happy, things like that. Doing small things, but making those small things meaningful.
Yeah.
I remember that one part in Free Run where like my favorite parts happen where it's just a normal quest that they're doing. It's like, okay, well, this beach is dirty, it's full of debris, and you're like, okay, we'll clean it up, and then we should clean it by the time this sunrise festival happens, and it's like, okay, fine, they get up early every day and they clean it up, and the sunrise festival happens, and Freeman goes only because Himmel said that she'd like it, and then the first time that happened when they're on the journey and they were there, she like slept in. And she didn't understand why that Himmel got upset. He's like, well, you and your friends were there. I don't see why I had to be there. And then she goes and actually experiences it with Fern. And then she goes, this is boring. And she goes, I'm going to go back to the house. This is boring. And she looks at Fern and goes, oh, because Fern was really into it. Like she's barely into anything. But at that moment, Fern was smiling and really enjoying herself. And then she goes, oh, Himmel was right. It's not because of the sunrise she would like it. It's because he knew that Freeman actually does care for her friends and would like it because her friends liked it. And so she would be happy because her friends were happy at that moment. And then she's like, oh, he knew me better than I thought he did. And you get that little moment there. It's a really good moment. That's kind of the core of Freeman's show, is that it's not about battling bad guys and overcoming villains through constant battle. It's about those moments where it's just like, you have all this power. And you try to get to those moments and you use that power that you have to solve these tiny little things. But these tiny little things are really important to ordinary people. It's kind of like Goblin Slayer in that way, where the things you do are looked down upon and not really given much gravitas, but they're really, really important to ordinary people. And she finds meaning in that because she knows Himmel was like that too.
Definitely. And it's like she's impractical to have a relationship with, and because she's so immortal and long living, she doesn't really feel the need to worry about anything. She's kind of very relaxed all the time, and whereas us mere mortals, we kind of always think in the present tense, kind of what things can I do before I kick the bucket. She doesn't have that, and that's definitely I find it rare to kind of have that take on immortality, that you live for so long, you don't really see the importance in anything. It's definitely an interesting way to approach it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I'm trying to think of like immortal characters that are so laid back and so chill about everything.
Usually when people try to tackle the immortal main character thing, it's usually done terribly. It's just sad because like, oh look, all of her friends will always die. Like I don't want to see that. with Freerun, it's like it's different because it's about her companions that she has now, and it's about her learning. It's the arc is not about her losing people and her being sad all the time. The arc is about her learning to appreciate things. It's learning to appreciate the time that she has, because at some point she's like, oh yeah, we'll just take 9 months to look for flowers, and then Fern's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But then that's when she starts learning to appreciate the time of others, because she's never had to do that before. Not really. So it's about her learning to slow down, or I guess speed up in this case, and learning to appreciate things around her and learning to appreciate her companions, because she never did that in the first place. I mean, she liked them and she wanted to make them happy, but she didn't appreciate them like she should have. And that's kind of what starts the main conflict, is that Himmel dies. She's like, oh well, we'll meet again in 50 years, and then she just stays away for 50 years, and everyone's like, really? You didn't even come check on us once? And so when she comes back, Himmel obviously is old and ancient, and then he dies. And then as he's being lower in the ground, she kind of realizes that she missed so much and that she should have known him better, and then it was too late. And so that's kind of what sparked her idea of learning to appreciate things. It's instead of, okay, let me focus on my goal of learning new spells, which is kind of endless. And I'm oddly enough, it's the same problem that Batman has, because he's fixated on a goal of stopping crime, and sometimes that gets away with his other relationships. So it would be his relationships with Robin or Batgirl or Nightwing or whatever might be strained because sometimes he gets too hyper focused on battling crime that he lets these other relationships he has wither away. And that's kind of what Freerun did. And she was so focused on getting the next thing, she just let 50 years go by and everyone's old and dead. And so that's kind of what happened. And so, she learns to, once that loss, a major loss, is felt, she learns to appreciate things, and she has to figure out why exactly that mere 10 years. Now, 10 years is not very, very long for her. It's like a couple of months to us. And it's wonder why that decade was so impactful compared to the other years she spent alive. And that's like confusing to her because she never felt that way before, and that's kind of what the ensuing journey, the following journey, kind of has her discover. Why is this? Why does she care so much? Learning to appreciate the small things and the big things.
Yeah, it's a unique take on immortality, and I appreciate that. As for me, I spent my Valentine's watching this little movie, if it can be called that. I saw Madam Web in the theaters. Originally, I was going to see it
Looks
on
very
the high
diverse.
seas. Yeah. Thing is, like, you know the rule in storytelling where you write about the most interesting character. Your main character should be the most interesting. Cassandra Webb, Dakota Johnson, was not interesting in the slightest. I have no idea what they were thinking. I watching this movie, I can't even tell what her personality is meant to be. Like, awkward with people, I guess, and then she kind of turns into a old wise woman towards the end, and it's just like, where did that arc kind of come from? It's all terrible. I was hoping to kind of, for this movie to be a kind of bad funny, kind of like The Room. Well,
Like
I
so
did.
bad, it's entertaining in some way.
Yes,
I found
yes.
Echo to be that way. It's like so terrible, it's really funny.
Yeah, although I did chuckle and laugh, like, what the hell am I watching, kind of thing. But I didn't laugh as much as I wanted to. Mainly, I was confused and like waiting for the movie to end. I was waiting towards the end of the movie like an idiot. I'm like, oh, there might be a post-credit scene. There wasn't, by the way. So
What happened,
watching,
Marvel? I thought every movie's supposed to have a post-credit scene.
I don't know. I guess I thought they have Morbius had a post-credit scene.
Even John Wick 4 had a post-credit scene.
Did it?
It did, yeah.
Oh yes, it did. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that post-credit scene. But that's but setting up a spin-off show, I think, about the blind Asian guy. It's not Marvel.
It's Kane. It's Kane. Akira was going after Kane.
Yeah. I was wondering if I could pick on. I don't know how knowledgeable you are on Spider-Man lore.
Not very. I wasn't really into Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I consider myself a huge Spider-Man fan, right? And I've only heard two of these characters on here, like Cassandra, also aka Madam Web. She appears in some stuff in comics whenever there's like a supernatural thing in Spider-Man story. And then there's Sydney Sweeney's Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter. She's one of the Spider-Womans. She basically has a cool outfit. I have no fucking clue who the hell these two are. Afro Girl and this one. No idea. I have no idea why they chose 3 spider people. Like, 1 is kind of hard to juggle. 3 is just, what are you doing? Yeah, I can just I can summarize these girls' personalities in like 2 words. They're that paper thin. Sydney Sweeney is kind of like the socially awkward kind of girl. She's kind of the science tech girl, I suppose, and that one's just sassy, I'm gonna give you the middle finger person. They have no personality whatsoever.
Did any of them like struggle or have challenges in the movie that really, really put them to the test?
They kind of not on screen. They kind of tell you their troubles. Oh,
Yes, informed troubles. Like informed. The movie's happening off screen, guys.
yeah. Like Sinifuni is. Oh, I can't go back to my house because my mom is in a psych ward and my parents hate me, so I can't go back to my home. I want to stay.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
History. Yeah, that'd be good to see.
Sounds like a cool movie.
One of them, I think, said, "Oh, my dad got deported and I'm living by myself." And I can't remember. The Afro girl's parents are rich and they're always away. Oh, what a tragedy for her, I suppose. And Cassandra Cain is just, again, I don't know what her character is. She's like socially awkward, I suppose. Like Dakota Johnson, like, does not give any performance worthy of credit whatsoever. I can't figure out her character at all.
It's kind of like a Disney Channel original movie. They wanted to make their own superhero movie, and like, oh, what should we call her? Madam Web. They did that. It's called Up, Up, and Away. And I'm pretty sure that movie's better than this. And the weakness to all superheroes in that universe was tinfoil.
Yeah. And right, Devil, you see these costumes, right? You'd think that this is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
They wear these costumes for about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes.
That makes sense. I don't know what it is about the Disney or the modern day obsession with superheroes being like Walmart attire at all times. Yeah. But that seems to be the case. Like they don't want superheroes. It takes superheroes way too seriously. It's like this: give them costumes and stuff. Give them costumes and masks, and really cool like powers and fun names. Give them some cool names. Let them have the names. Let them have the costumes.
No, that's what I would expect in a superhero film. This doesn't even have that. Most of the time, these three girls are just powerless, helplessly escaping from Ezekiel. Like, that's not an entertaining movie to watch. How are you going to sell this as a superhero film if only one person has superpowers here? And it's to see flashes of the future. That's not that entertaining, to be honest. And it's just a miracle that these three girls survived, like, at all. Everything was terrible in this. If you want to see it, go see it on the internet. Don't see this movie in the theater. Like, I was lucky to have it on the cheap near me. I thought I'd have a laugh. I did, but it was also quite mind-numbing as well.
Uh-oh. It's like just me now. Let's see. Welcome, chat. Welcome to the evening nonsense show. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's see. Well, unfortunately, I can't really show you. Can I? No, I don't think I can. But welcome, everyone. Let's see. Who else is here? Spider POC. Yeah, that's exactly how they see them too. By the way, they don't see these characters as characters. They see them as categories. Like, we got them checked off. We got this one check. We got our lesbian character. All right, check. We got that's why so many characters now are like lesbian black women, because you can have one character check off like 10 boxes. So that's kind of how that goes. They don't see them as characters, and they definitely don't write them as characters. They're just there's kind of like trophies. Like, here's the character. We put that kind of Zack Snyder put like 10 million characters in his Batman vs Superman movie. They put politically accurate, politically correct characters in their Marvel movies. Like, look, we got 10 boxes checked off for this one character. She's black, lesbian, genius, that sort of thing. Black, lesbian, genius, crippled, blind, sex worker. It's kind of like that thing from MOM, Mother of Madness, that one by Khaleesi, actress lady, where she's like an engineer and a sex worker and like a mom and like all this other stuff too. Like, how do you have time for all that? No way you're a mom, a sex worker, an engineer, and then dropped out of college and high school. How did you do that? It doesn't make any sense. It was awful. Like, the worst first page I've ever seen.
Oh, definitely.
That's how they operate. That's how they write characters.
So sorry for the technical issue. It seems to randomly kick me out. It's not an internet problem. I think it's also a headset problem. So sorry about that, everyone.
It might be. Really, it's like a StreamYard's problem, I think.
I think so. Yeah, it just says like audio and camera offline, and it just puts me in the backstage. So it doesn't like literally kick me out of the whole thing. It's weird problem to have. Thank you for taking over a little bit. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, and I was talking about Madam Web and Ezekiel Sims. He's a villain, I guess. The most generic. They didn't even bother. They didn't even try. I don't know how a woman who sees his flashes of the future is supposed to take him on. No idea. I don't. The previous writers that wrote this wrote Mobius as well. So, what were the good things about it? Sydney Sweeney is hot. She's probably the best actress in this. I would say, which is surprising because in the trailers she had like horrible line deliveries. No, I think she acted the best out of all of everyone in there. And they kind of included a young Uncle Ben in here as well, which was weird. And the mother of Peter Parker as well, and she was pregnant and about to give birth to Peter Parker. It's just like, oh, look, it's kind of Spider-Man connected. I was just like, yeah, but not really though, is it? Again, I struggle to classify this as a superhero film now that I think about it because it's so stupid. It's like the material they had is just not enough to make a proper movie. I don't know what they were thinking. I guess it's just, to retain their rights, they have to make Sony has to make a Spider-Man related thing to hold on to their rights. And that's exactly what this movie was. Just a tick box to hold on to those rights,
Content to add to their their categories, their repertoire, the collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So don't see Madam Web is basically the message that I give to you, fellow audience. I guess we can go on to our news segment. I'm gonna roll the clip. Okay, so it's the most watched trailer of all time of being No Way Home. Again, I was kind of disappointed with this trailer, but we do have a title, Wolverine and Deadpool. It's definitely going to get bums in seats. For that kind of title, Wolverine and Deadpool, they don't really show that much of Wolverine in here. I guess they're saving him.
And they save him for a reveal at the end, yeah.
Yeah. They save him for a reveal at the end, yep. And just show his shadow. We don't even know if he has his cowl in the film. I reckon he will. Fingers crossed. If you're going to have him in the yellow suit, you're going to have to have him in the cowl. Devil, what did you think about this trailer overall? And are you excited?
I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah, it's just they broke the fourth wall. That's what Deadpool does, and it's always the right way to break it. Like it's just like no one else notices or comments on it. It's just little comments he makes for our fun, and no one's like, oh, what did you say? And they don't linger on it either. It's not like he says a break a fourth wall comment, and they have to linger on it and point at it and stop the whole movie for it for like 5 minutes before they before they keep moving, which is like every other Disney thing, every other movie now, especially if it's a woke movie or whatever. They have every joke they have to like. They seem like the writers think is so personally funny. They have to stop the movie and let the audience, point it at point out for the audience. Like, look, audience, it's a joke we just made.
He said pegging. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna look at the camera and wait for you to laugh. I'm really funny because I'm Deadpool and I make meta jokes. And like, sure you are.
Lots of people don't like Deadpool, but like, that is one of like this fourth. You either like to break the fourth wall thing or not.
Yeah. I have a Deadpool hat, by the way, right there. on the top of my wardrobe. And I'd like to point out, I am not a Deadpool fan. I got that hat as a Christmas gift because I'm pretty sure they thought it was the Spider-Man logo because I'm the Spider-Man. That's kind of a funny story behind that hat. So no, I don't particularly like Deadpool. I kind of find him annoying sometimes, but hey, for Hugh Jackman Wolverine, I'm getting front row seats for this just to see him.
But yeah, the Deadpool's probably the one franchise from Marvel today that I would actually go see because I know it's really like a Ryan Reynolds thing. It's not even like a Disney Marvel thing. It's more like they separate it off from the rest of the universe.
Mhm.
So it really feels more like its own thing, a Ryan Reynolds production or project. And so I'm pretty confident it's going to be mostly free from wokeness, although I'm pretty sure it's not going to be completely free. But it's going to be free enough where it's still going to be entertaining, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like No Way Home with, them having Raimi character and then Andrew Garfield coming back. I think it's going to be kind of fun in that way, particularly because, we love seeing fan favorite characters come back and done justice. And that's exactly what No Way Home did. But do you reckon it will save the MCU, as some directors by the name of Matthew Vaughn have said? Because I don't think it will. I think it's just going to be a fun movie, and then that's it. I mean, No Way Home didn't do anything to get people to watch more MCU movies. That's definitely the case. Light background, I don't particularly know how to change it to dark mode. Jeez, very difficult on PC. On app, I do have it. I do have it on dark mode. I thought it was okay. I like some of the references like Patch, but TVA being in it, and I'm not a fan of, but I hope it's good. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. Indeed, there's the TVA in it, and that kind of reminds us of Loki. Loki wasn't a great show. Definitely deconstructed Loki in a way that no one particularly liked.
I heard they destroyed Loki's character because they completely made him the second banana to like the female Loki and just kicking the balls. They made him a joke. They always do that. They always take like a male led thing and they just make him a complete joke and then make the female version, the female character they add in, the star, the real star.
Yep. I'm getting tired of this shit. And yeah, speaking
it's okay
of,
for guys to be awesome. It's fine. It's not going to destroy anything. Okay, it's okay for men to be awesome.
Yep.
It's definitely okay for the male lead to be stronger and more confident in the female's second position. Just because it's a woman on the cast doesn't mean you have to be the most competent and the smartest ever. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not going to ruin anything because I think it's what they feel. Like if we have a female character on staff and it's a male lead, she has to be better than him, or else it's going to prove to women that they're inferior. Like it's that mentality which no one else has unless you're like a weirdo in Hollywood or something.
Mm-hmm. You only think about the people that act and stuff. Story doesn't even come into it. It's all about tick boxes, ESG scores, blah 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 blah. What does this woman represent? And it's you're doing the story. You're entertaining people at the end of the day. God's sake, it doesn't have to be such a dumpster truck of messaging of all sorts.
And when they do have a female main character, it's always about victimhood. With these woke writers anyway.
Yeah.
Even when it's like a powerful character, like who's physically strong or whatever, it always has to boil down to some guy saying, "Oh, hey, what's up, sweet cheeks," or whatever. There has to be sexism. There has to be some sort of I'm oppressed going on. The victim narrative has to be in there. It can't just be she's a female main character who fights bad guys. It has to be she's a female main character who men don't take seriously and who are sexist towards and everything. It has to be that. It has to be she's a victim, but she still fights crime anyway. It has to be that. I don't know why. Like I just missed the 90s when you could have a female main character or a black main character, and it doesn't have to be about racism or sexism. It just can be about them being awesome and fighting bad guys.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of deconstruction, That moves us along nicely to the main topic of the show, the deconstruction of our beloved heroes. As you guys probably saw, I've gone kind of viral just posting Suicide Squad clips from the game because if you paid basically a ton of money, you got to play the game 3 days early. Some dude decided that was actually a good idea and posted clips of it on YouTube. I watched them and I just posted them on Twitter, and people reacted very strongly because this was definitely a disrespectful way to kill off characters. And the whole situation has made me reflect on how many times has this happened. And I asked people following on Twitter, what are some characters that were deconstructed or ridiculed? And you guys gave me some great suggestions. I've tried to fit in as many as I could in the thumbnail, and I think they all fall into the category very nicely. Obviously, we have some of the more recent ones, like Batman himself, and with the Suicide Squad clips especially, people kind of pretend not to see this. That, oh, our heroes aren't really deconstructing. Oh, they're villains. They try to kind of gaslight, kind of pretend that it's not there. The Emperor with no clothes kind of situation.
Well, it's like the idea of the same people saying this, like ramming against, hitting back so hard against any idea of these heroes being treated poorly in the writing room, and how they're being humiliated and disrespected in this game. The same people who obviously acknowledge that you can write things in character, but in the wrong way, because these same people are the ones like, oh, we need to have representation. The representation mentality runs on a similar principle. That, oh, you need a female character in there, and she has to be competent and good, or else we're telling all women that they're not competent and good. Mm-hmm. But when you complain about heroes being disrespected, something that goes out the window, and they just forget all about that. So for years they had argued that, oh, we need to have a female character in here, and they need to be written well, they need to be written with kindness, and they need to be written with concern and sensitivity. But when they come down to our heroes, our iconic heroes, and we have the Flash being peed on, and the Batman being shot in the face by Harley Quinn, and then left on a bench, and we just see his floundering corpse, like flopping corpse in the background. And all of a sudden, the idea goes out the window. Like, oh, there's no such thing as mean-spirited writing. No such thing.
Yeah.
Not at all. And it's like, the idea is, it's not because they're bad guys. The problem is not because they're bad guys. Which they need that to be our argument, because that's easily debunked. Like, oh, this proper characterization. Like, it's not because they're bad guys. That does make sense why they would want to kill good guys, because they're bad guys. It's the writers.
Yeah.
You don't have to have them where they pee on Flash. You don't. This idea of this is similar to the situation happened with The Witcher a long time ago, where they're going to have, I think, his horse die, and then they're going to make it a joke, and they're just going to make it a joke, and Henry Cavill's like, no, you are not making this a joke. This is a respected character. This is his horse that he loves a lot. You're not going to kill off his horse and then make it a joke. And so it's that mentality. Like, when you kill off a character, it can be in character, but you don't necessarily have to piss on the corpse on your way out. You don't have to do that. And so it's the difference. There's a difference between Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang killing a hero, and those guys killing the hero, and the hero's death being made into a humiliating joke. It's a big difference. You can have him get shot, and fall from the sky, whatever it is, how explode or whatever. There's a difference between that, which would be acceptable on like a, relatively speaking, acceptable. I don't want these heroes to die in the first place, but you could just have them die, get them explode. They explode, get a really cool death or whatever. But when the writers choose to have you kill these heroes, your heroes, these heroes with decades of gravitas behind them and fanfare behind them, and then make their deaths a joke, that's a big difference in the writing style. And that's kind of where we get into mean-spirited territory. And I'm pretty sure that if Hollywood had a Harley Quinn movie where they killed her off and then like had the Joker like ask for a janitor to sweep the body away and everyone had a big laugh about it and that was it. That was the end of Harley Quinn in that movie. I don't think they'll take to that. I don't think they'll take that kindly. And I know because this whole situation immediately reminded me of this Darth Vader comic where this crazy lady was like in love with him and she was like collecting skin flakes and stuff. And then like she was falling in love with him, imagining that they would get married together. And then Darth Vader just killed her and then told the janitors to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
And these people exploded on Twitter. Like, no, that's awful. That's terrible.
Because they saw themselves with that character.
They felt seen with that character. But the thing is, the reason why that was not a problem is because it was a random character. It was just a character who was insane. She did no good. Like, it wasn't like she had years of gravitas or fandom behind her. It wasn't like a built-up character that was just summarily executed a long time ago just for no reason. Which is, by the way, a big hindrance or a big problem people have with Game of Thrones and like the Marvel zombies or whatever, were just heroes, beloved heroes, who just be killed in humiliating ways. So it's not new. It's not a new gripe people have with writers of the franchises. We never have liked our heroes being just killed for no reason and in a humiliating or degrading way. We've never liked that. But the reason why it was okay with the Darth Vader thing is because Darth Vader would do that. First of all, yes, that's character accurate, but the character he killed was just a psycho. She wasn't like a hero or a fallen hero or anything like that. She was just a weirdo psycho lady, and that was it. That's the beginning and end of her character. So when she got killed off, it wasn't because it was some beloved character that was just summarily executed without any a fanfare or a goodbye or anything like that. It was just a crazy character we got to see die. That's it. So there's a big difference between that crazy lady being killed summarily and then her death being made a joke, and Superman or Flash or Green Lantern, these guys who have decades of doing good and sacrificing themselves and putting themselves on line every day to save people who they don't even know on a regular basis, and always strive to do the right thing, have become icons and role models for people. There's a big difference between killing off the crazy lady and killing off one of these guys in a humiliating fashion. And it becomes like people have this big compunction, this big conflict, this big hatred for writers disrespecting heroes, and this has been going on for a long time. But we definitely hate this aspect when it's very clear that the writers are these weirdos who hate heroes, especially when they hate heroes on a political level. Like there's a reason why they see them as super cops, and so they hate them on a moral level, on a political level, and they hate them specifically, as I point out in my Superman video, is because they don't identify with heroes. And the reason why they don't identify with heroes is because they held themselves to a moral standard. They identify, and this is by confession from them, the writers, they identify more with villains. And they say it was because of the outcast nature, but they both have that. The only reason why you identify with villains over heroes is because they don't have a moral code to abide by.
No, and the thing is that like they say they're the villains and stuff like that. I don't even think the Suicide Squad are like proper villains. They're more like anti-heroes and petty crooks, really. I mean,
usually once you enter the Suicide Squad, you kind of become an anti-villain or an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, a true probably proper villain would probably, I don't know, have their head on a spike, a true villainous, but no one would really connect with that. It's just like, it have to be like the cool and rad kind of anti-hero, petty crook kind of thing to kind of connect with. So it's not really all that engaging. And yeah, there's this gaslighting that there is no disrespect shown here. And with some of the responses that I've gotten, like for instance, Chris Reagan, I think people
of course, Chris Reagan.
Yeah, I think people being about I can't talk. I think people are being babies about this game. Honestly, there's a lot that looks bad about it. Its Arkham connection is dumb, bad UI, live service, etc. But I'm seeing a lot of people upset that the Suicide Squad aren't morally upsetting people. It's a mega goofy criticism. It's just like, look,
that's not the problem, Chris Reagan.
Yeah, he's kind of like putting himself in this position, kind of like, look, I am better than you because I'm criticizing the UI and the Arkham connection and the stuff the game actually has stuff in it. And yeah, that stuff is terrible too. All right, the fact that this is live service is really stupid. But don't try this BS that. Listen, I'm clearly seeing like pure disrespect on the screen, and it just amazes me at the lengths people will go to ignore it, not see it.
I would like to point out that even Linkara has videos going over comic books where they summarily kill off beloved characters, and he hates it too. At least he used to. So nobody likes seeing their heroes treated this way, and it's really weird and maybe even telling that people don't care or don't understand. It feels like either they don't know what heroes are, they don't understand heroism, or they're not fans in the first place. Because fans care about this stuff. If you're a fan of Flash or Batman, you care about these characters, and you want to see them respected even in death. So, fortunately, Mahler came to your defense as well, and he just called Chris Ray Gun an idiot.
Yeah, that
which
was
is
awesome.
true. Very
I'm a
accurate.
big
Very
Mahler
accurate. Chris Ray Gun is an idiot.
You know who else is an idiot? Movie Bob.
Well, we already know that.
I
Really, Chris
was-
Ray Gun, you're going to have the same opinion that you agree with Movie Bob? Are you sure you want to go that way?
All right, to be honest, I was too busy laughing my ass off instead of actually reading what he wrote. I was just laughing that he even bothered to respond. I honestly can't tell if people are just looking for stuff to be mad at, or if the DCU, sucking for a decade, finally broke fandom's brain to where they hate the SH shit. I think that is. They used to. I think that's meant to be love, not lose. Snyderverse and Miller for. So he's essentially arguing, well, you like this stuff with Snyder. Why are you complaining about it here? And it's just like, not everyone liked the Snyder stuff. Big example of the dude below me, who absolutely destroyed Zack Snyder over his take on Superman in the Superman video. Please do watch that, by the way. So yeah, this take does not work at all either. And with big thanks to Melee James. Melee James made me aware of this little panel. We were discussing about it on the live stream, and this is what Captain Boomerang is actually like. Because at first, when I saw Captain Boomerang pissing on Flash, I assumed, okay, maybe it's in character for him to want to piss on the Flash and stuff like that, because he's a Flash villain. I assumed wrong. Okay, the Flash saved them in that game twice. He saved Harley, he saved the squad, and he got beaten up by Batman and brainwashed for his trouble. So, in saving them, he basically sacrificed himself. He shouldn't be pissed on if he does such heroic actions and saving Boomerang's life, essentially. And the pissing on is not justified.
They pee on his body and they turn his death into a dick joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they wonder why we're all upset with this.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. By the way, the Flash is like probably one of the most kindest, empathetic hero in the DC universe. Like exactly. He just knows there's a villain bar. He'll just go there to comfort some villains if they're sad or whatever, and he'll just like, I'll visit you in the hospital and we'll play darts together someday. All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that in the Justice League Unlimited series. That's a great show. And he's definitely kind of empathetic to his villains. And here's a certain comic panel where Flash lays dead. I don't know the specific context for this, but here are some Flash villains basically being all sad about it. So Trickster and Captain Boomerang. And
this must be older because Captain Boomerang is wearing his airplane stewardess outfit.
Mm-hmm. And Trickster is like, okay, how about we, take up his mask, see who was on that hood. And then Captain Boomerang's
like, no, don't you dare.
You disgust me, Trickster. Have no respect for the dead. What good will knowing his secret identity do you now? And that is just, wow. That is the complete opposite of what he does in the game. Like, completely. So it's a bit of an interesting little panel, I suppose. Respect the dead. something that the game did not do or bother to do. It's funny because when I first heard that it was going to be kill the Justice League, I was thinking they had some sort of idea to pull it off, story wise, kind of like, ooh, okay, I'm going to be fighting the Justice League. That sounds kind of cool. That was a sweet, innocent little me when the game was first announced. Because I liked Rocksteady's, loved the Batman Arkham games, and I had hopes that it'd be good. They hadn't released a game in a long while since Arkham Knight, and I was thinking like naively, like, oh, they probably have some good idea for how to do it properly. They didn't have any ideas. They just killed them willy nilly, however they liked.
I didn't think they would actually do it because, in reality, how in the world is Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot going to kill the Justice League? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes. On
Even
surface,
if they are
yes.
brainwashed,
Yeah, but here's where I think like Batman's plans would have come in very useful, and they could have used that. They mention it in the game, but they killed like 3 Justice League members, and then they bump into the Batman's plans. I'm like, narratively, that makes no sense whatsoever. How about you bump into the Batman plans first and just not have maybe Batman brainwashed? How about we have a game about Batman on brainwashing the Justice League, and then you can have, a game about fighting the Justice League. There's so many ideas you could have gone, and they went.
What if Batman worked with the Suicide Squad to save the Justice League instead of everyone just dies?
Maybe Brainiac cripples him or something. I mean, Brainiac is just, oh, you know what? Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. Yep. They're all superpowered. What do I need Batman for? Oh, this dude has no powers. Whatever. Slaps him across the face of the earth, and then there's a Batman kind of guiding you how to defeat the Justice League. That'd make for a good game. Certainly would. And it'd definitely be more respectful to Kevin Conroy's last performance. Now, supposedly it's his last performance, but apparently there's some other projects.
I think they dug up some other performance that they can use, so this won't be his last one.
Yeah, thankfully.
Apparently they lied during marketing and said, this is the last performance of Kevin Conroy.
And then they looked at the reaction like, oh, quick, what do we do? He's been on a project.
No longer the last performance. No longer the last performance. Now we got another one, guys. We dug one up from the vault.
Yep. Why not have the Titans save the Justice League? It would be a lot more believable. Yeah. The Titans are Lex Luthor holds their hands. Yeah, that's true. No, not even their Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor from a different multiverse. They kind of use the multiverse to kind of justify the live service aspects of the game. It's just like I've had it with multiverse stuff, especially watching Marvel movies. The failure of DCU has broken a good chunk of the fans, especially the Marvel being so successful. Phase 4 notwithstanding. Yep. Exactly. I think that covers the main topic nicely. I guess we can move on to the last segment of the show, which is Pitch Me a Story. Okay, so this is a little bit of fun during the live stream where each of us gets to pitch a story. And the structure of the story is decided by the genre wheel, the franchise wheel, and the almighty ESG wheel. I think I should probably rename it to like BlackRock, ESG, kind of be more specific, I suppose. But ESG works, I suppose.
Diversity wheel.
Diversity wheel, yeah, that also works. It's multicolored. So the wheel itself is diverse. It would not surprise me in the slightest that writers of movies and TV shows actually use this method to kind of write their stories, because they're so goofy sometimes. I'm like just wondering, do they spin a wheel or do they just throw? darts at a board. You never know with these things. Yeah, this is a little segment that I came up with because I'm a wannabe writer. There's a reason why on my Twitter profile it says wannabe writer, because mainly when I start to write things, I don't really finish it. I kind of leave it alone, then look back on it and I'm like, oh, this was terrible. What was I even thinking? Let me move on to this next idea. Writing books is very difficult. You have to kind of describe everything, but I find writing scripts much more comfortable, much more focused on dialogue and character actions. That's what interests me the most. Character actions, I suppose. So yeah, this is how I guess this segment of the show came to be, because I have an interest in writing. Okay, I suppose we'll spin the genre wheel. Let's start off with you, Devil. Your genre of your story is
Horror.
How fitting as a devil for yourself.
Real horror show.
Definitely. And your franchise. So we have Star Wars, we have Lord of the Rings, two of, sci-fi and fantasy, the two pinnacles of storytelling. We've got Marvel, DC, obviously they're all popular superheroes and things now. Pokemon seems to be sell a lot, and Harry Potter. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure there's more franchises that I could add, but I just went with the most popular ones. So without further ado, Devil, your franchise is Star Wars.
Star Wars horror.
Interesting. Very interesting. And your mandatory ESG theme is Is it going to go to racism? Yes, it's going to go to racism. Oh, wow.
Perfect.
That kind of fits because, the Empire and stuff like that. Okay. Let me spin the wheel for myself as well. So my genre is crime noir thriller. Oh, how interesting. And my franchise is Marvel. How nice. Okay, and my mandatory ESG is fat body positivity. Okay. I brought this on myself. It's going to be a difficult one. Would you need any time I can play like a countdown or a clip, kind of, in case you need to write
actually,
any
I
notes.
got an interesting idea on mine, because remember those guys in the bar in New Hope?
Yeah.
The jazz guys. They play, or the jizz guys, I guess you could say, because that's what the music.
Well, they're always in
genre's
the
called.
they're always in the cantina, right?
Yeah, they was in the cantina.
Yeah.
What if those guys are booked for a show, right? They're booked for a show and they go to a cantina. They're playing normally, and then so a squad of stormtroopers come in, and they're actually how the idea of the Empire's all human, so they have this racial supremacy thing. What if these guys, maybe the Jizz players' homeworld, they kind of were at war with the Empire, and so they rebelled or whatever, and so they're kind of hunting down all of that homeworld type, and that I don't know what they're called, but that alien race type,
Yes,
And
yes,
so, like,
yes,
we
yeah.
heard that, according to the Empire, we have a mandate to capture and kill all of these guys who are within our territory because they're all could possibly acting as spies. So the band hears this happening, and they go and lock themselves in a room. In the back room of a cantina. And so there's a big standoff with the stormtroopers outside. They can't get in. Like, it's really tough. Like, it's a door. It's a very strong door. And trying to negotiate. The whole movie's about trying to negotiate and those guys trying to escape. Basically, the movie The Green Room, but with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's exactly what I thought of, like, with horror racism. So the Green
Yeah,
Room would be good, but without with the actual racism part, because the Green Room people were white too, so they didn't have any anything against those guys. So, but I thought, what happens if the reason why they wanted him dead was not because they saw something they shouldn't have, but because they're actually the race in which the bad guys wanted to get rid of.
yeah, definitely. And to be honest, now that I think about it, you never see that race of aliens anywhere else other than that goddamn cantina bar
Yeah,
playing the
they're just
jazz.
like just jizz players. They just go to the whole race of jizz players.
Yeah, yeah. And the Empire has a disliking to all other alien races, with Ron being like kind of despised in that. No, no, I can see it work, Devil. I can definitely see it work. Uh, okay. Mine is kind of difficult. I mean, noir or thriller in the Marvel universe with a body positivity message. Damn. Well, I guess there was some kind of expectancy during the black and white times of being physically fit. There's this high expectation, especially if you are a star. So my main character, I suppose, would be, let's say, Madame Web. Let's say her in her young age. Okay. And she's kind of a psychic. She kind of reads cards for people and stuff like that. And one day in her shack there comes uh, a certain actress, and she's kind of like morbidly obese, and the psychic helps her out. She takes pity because a woman can understand a woman, and I guess the fat woman wishes for people to perceive her better, to kind of accept the fatness. And it's like that'd be very difficult to do, but she contacts the spirits, see what she can do, and basically the moral of the story is she turns everyone fat, and being fat is then normalized, and that's the end of the story.
Sounds
Kind of
good.
one on the fly. Yeah. Fat body positivity is a hard one. I guess. I guess you could go with body positivity in general, because there was that Marvel comic with like a pregnant Nova Corps member. You remember that, Devil? Have you heard about that?
Uh, Actually, I saw the Into the Spider Verse where they had a pregnant Spider Woman too, and she's like one
Oh
of the main
no,
characters.
that too. Oh, I could have used that. That was
Avatar, the
dumb as hell.
Way of Water had like a pregnant lady hunting for some reason.
Oh yeah, definitely,
That's
definitely.
that. I know that
Oh,
they're trying to push it as empowerment. But that's a fetish. That is somebody's fetish.
that is
That
just
is
like the
straight,
foot
don't
fetish
even
thing.
try to convince me it's an empowerment thing. That's straight up someone's fetish.
Hmm. The blob from. Oh, you guys are giving me extras. Golok, yes, I could have named him Golok. Yep. Uh, they backed her and made her pregnant. Yep. It is so. I remember the Spider Woman pissing me off so badly. Like, it is so irresponsible for her to get on a motorcycle and hit the Vulture with a tire wheel, doing a backflip. And it's just like, have you considered your baby's life instead of fighting crime? Like, I don't think they see that. Like, the danger they pose. Like, I remember getting like arguments, oh, but she has superpowers, so normal standards don't apply to it. Like, superheroes get hurt all the time. Have you seen freaking Spider-Man 1 where Toby gets absolutely massacred by the Green Goblin?
I want
And Green Goblin has just some
one scenario
bumps.
where they foolishly go out to fight crime while pregnant and they get punched in the stomach and lose the baby. Like that's what happens. That
Ah,
happens. You learned your lesson finally. They don't even care about it when it's a man because in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, they have Peter Parker that carries his baby around, and then he jumps on this train that's going to the moon, and like he's on the outside of it, still carrying his baby. Like Peter, maybe the other 10 trillion Spider-Men can go take care of this. You don't have to go there with your baby. And then Miles Morales jumps off the train and kind of flies back to the ground somehow. And then apparently everyone else does that too, including Peter Parker with the baby. Like, you know what, Mary Jane, just make him keep the baby home. Just keep the baby home from now on. Your husband's going around launching it to the moon and jumping down thousands of miles to the surface with the baby in his care. So I don't think he's taking good care of it.
yeah. What are your thoughts on Miles Morales is Miles Morales, by the way?
I mean, he even says that in the movie. So he is Miles Morales. I mean, he says that he's like, I'm not Spider-Man Miles Morales. He says that in the movie. So
I
it
always
is true.
That question always rises up for me because whenever anyone talks about the Miles movies, because I feel like with what was it called again? Beyond the Spider-Verse or chat, help me out. Is it Beyond? No, Beyond was meant to be the third one, I think. It's Into the Spider-Verse, and then it's what? Whatever the second one is that it's called. Something Spider-Verse.
I think it's Into the Spider-Verse, something like that.
I think it's Into. It might be. The problem with that, I think the first one works. It's definitely more focused in terms of Miles as a character, and they didn't bother making him a Spider-Man, just a good character in general. That's the main focus of what was the first one. But with the second one, I just felt that they read Twitter too much. Of all the arguments and back and forth, and is Miles a Spider-Man or isn't he? It's just like, no,
I'm
he's
the strongest Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's the spider. He's the biggest Spider-Man of them all. All of these versions of Spider-Man kind of accepts that canon events are a thing, that they're hopeless. Everything is destined to happen. You have no free will. You don't even bother saving people. That is quintessentially not Spider-Man at all. If he sees someone in trouble, he is going to go and try their best to help them. And it's this really annoying thing of it happens constantly in stories nowadays, where in order to elevate a character, to raise them up, they have to drag other characters down. They can never keep them on the same level. They always have to raise someone up and drag someone down. They can't compete on levels and both be competent and clash and conflict. That's what makes stuff interesting. When
every other Spider-Man was incompetent compared to Miles.
Their values were lacking as well. Miles was only the more kind of morally in the right here. No, I have to try. Did no one else think of this at all? Did no one else? Hey, this canon event thing, kind of predetermined bullshit. I'm not gonna follow it. Did no one think that? Annoys me. But yeah, what I said about the characters, when the characters are on a equal footing, that's when it's most interesting. When they come into conflict, that makes the most interesting part of the story. The drama and the conflict in itself. And nowadays, we seem to be solely lacking that. There was, in the Madam Web movie, I didn't feel much of a conflict at all. Not much of a connection with the villain and the main character. What sort of conflict that they had apart from some flimsy ones? It's not. It's absolutely stupid the way in which they fight. Only because Ezekiel is like a paper thin villain. He kind of sees his future, and he sees him being defeated by the Spider-Girls in the future. So he has to kill them in the present tense. And he doesn't even bother kind of finding out why do these spider girls want to take me out? Why does it come to this and blah 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 blah. Again, it's all paper thin on shaky ground, and I just don't feel that engaged by their conflicts. That's what we might need to master today. Meaningful conflicts. But yeah, sorry, I've
Or
been
actual
waffling on for-
conflicts.
Yeah,
They don't give, like, most Marvel movies and Disney movies in general don't actually get conflicts.
Mhm.
They get like things that look like conflicts, but not really. Like, just they don't really have a lot of trouble dealing with them. It's just like here's like a semblance of a conflict. Like, just like Captain Marvel, things like that. They had like this idea where this is a conflict, but then to solve the conflict, it's like believe in yourself, and it's like you unlock your shackles, and she don't have to do anything to get to that point. She doesn't grow or gain any wisdom. It's like, no, mom, I'm not obeying you anymore. Haha, now I'm free. That was the point of the movie almost.
yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be shackled to you anymore, so now I'm not. Haha.
Yep. It's a sign of a lazy, insecure writer. Yep, exactly. Into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse. Oh, across the Spider. Okay, first one is Into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider. That is not confusing at all. That's stupid. Really stupid. It makes it hard. If I find it difficult, imagine the general audience. You know, they're just gonna say, "Oh, have you seen the new Miles Morales movie?" That's what they're gonna say. I guess that will finish us off for the show. I think we've covered everything. I think I wanted to cover an extra news topic, but I'm blanking on what. There was that Fantastic Four casting, but that's really not that interesting. It's just like it's been leaked beforehand. I guess Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards now, which is meh. You could have gone for someone completely better, to be honest.
Does anyone care enough about Marvel anymore to just care about the weird casting of Reed Richards? They already
Yeah,
killed off Reed Richards in that one movie in a horrific, humiliating fashion. I mean, who
yep,
cares anymore?
yeah, exactly. It does seem to be like an interesting other cast, like Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. Um, the guy from the Netflix show, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. It all seems interesting, and it's got like a '60s aesthetic to it. But I've been fooled time and time again, like with WandaVision. I thought to myself that looks absolutely fascinating, and then it ended like kind of typical Marvel slop.
She's misunderstood, and
Yeah,
she's a victim in all this.
they don't know what you sacrifice. Is just like, what the hell is that line? No, I was so disappointed with WandaVision because it started off interesting, but then it just kind of died down a lot. But anyway, I wanted to get to the end towards the show, so I guess we'll do outros. Literature Devil, would you like to promote anything? Shell out anything? Any recent videos that are coming up or live
Right,
streams?
right now, I have a lot of shorts coming out. I've been getting into doing YouTube shorts because you kind of have to now, but they've
Yeah.
been kind of fun. I got another one coming out in maybe 30 minutes or so on my channel. But I've been working on, but I've got a lot lined up so I can have time to work on longer videos. I got some pretty interesting ones coming down the pipeline. The only thing else coming up is I'm relaunching my first comic, Doctor Alpha Miracle Child, soon. Not sure when exactly, but soon. So keep an eye out.
Okay,
If
I'll
you're
keep an
interested.
eye out for that. Yeah, I'll check that out. Um, as for me, I'm also doing some shorts. You guys have probably noticed that I keep on doing out of theater review. With Madam Web, I only came out just saying it was shit, and I think that's all the thoughts that was needed. To be honest, like that's all the time and effort it was. I'm not sure if I'll do a review on it. I could always just post a clip of this live stream. Yeah, here's my thoughts on Madam Web. Because it's not a movie worth time on. You know, it's an absolute piece of shit. Um, yeah. Uh, as for next few videos, yeah, stay tuned for character study. They're weekday nights because they're kind of similar to this show. Um, turn your notifications on to keep track of them. The True Pop Culture 7 show, yeah, it's not on a weekly schedule anymore. As soon as I find a co-host, it will resume on a certain day and on a certain time. But right now, yeah, the True Pop Culture 7 show is kind of all over the place, and I will get around to fixing that and make it on a scheduled time and proper time. But yeah, sometimes I don't manage to invite guests, and it'd be kind of boring if it was just me talking about news topics of the week. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys with the True Pop Culture 7 show soon. We are 80 subscribers away from 2,000, so absolutely amazing. Never thought I'd be reaching nearly 2,000, and yeah, onwards and upwards of the channel. Thank you everyone for sticking with me, and thank you to Literature Dedo for coming onto the show. It was a pleasure to have you on, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. Anyway, guys, that'll be all for now. See you guys next time. Bye.
Have a good night.